And I'll see you, and you'll see me, and I'll see you in the branches that blow in the breeze. I'll see you in the trees. I'll see you in the trees.
So in the late 80s, there was a great show that came to network television, and it was called Twin Peaks. And Twin Peaks starts off with a girl, a murder victim, and the simple question, who killed Laura Palmer? A beautiful girl from a small-knit Washington town, whose death affected the entire community. It reminds me of a story I've been talking about on my channel for about 2.5 years now, and it starts the same way. Who killed Karina Vetrano? In October of 2016, Karina Vetrano was murdered, and similarly to Laura Palmer in Twin Peaks, her murder affected the entire community, even though in this community, it's the big city, New York City, Queens to be exact. Regardless of the difference in city sizes, the murder of this girl affects the city in the same way, and especially the tight-knit little community in Queens. So like the show stretches out Laura's murder over about almost 2 seasons that you don't find out what happens to her. It took 3 months to catch the killer in the Karina Vetrano case. So over the last 2.5 years, I've done about 6 videos on it, and this I'm hoping will be the last one in the saga. And I might actually make a playlist, so look out for that in the future. Anyway, about 4 months ago, the trial had a hung jury. So I found out about 2 days ago that after 2.5 years and 2 trials, in about 5 hours, the jury found the defendant, Chanel Lewis, guilty of the murder of Karina Vetrano. So finally, the family has its justice, and this case went through a lot of nonsense with the hung jury and the claims of racism. I told you about it in my comments section, like how everyone is just saying, like, this is New York City cop racism. I don't think that kid did it. This is white people being the devil. All crazy types of shit. I made one specific video just about the comments section in my videos. And right before the trial ended, there was actually an anonymous letter that went to the defense, that came to the defense in the mail, and they're claiming it's from a very good source. But if it's anonymous, like, bring the people in, let them prove it in court. Apparently they claim that the police department withheld information from the court, and I guess that didn't fly, because if the judge didn't do anything about it, I assume it was nothing, a big nothing burger. And it was weird because they said something like a bunch of African American people were swabbed for DNA, and usually, like, if you're in jail, you can get swabbed for DNA. Like, once they bring you in, they swab you, so they get your DNA sample. Like, they do this all the time. Police forces, like, look through databases of fingerprints and DNA of criminals all the time to try and link crimes to other crimes. This is not anything unheard of. If they were claiming that it was, like, people off the street, like, usually then they can't just take your DNA, so you would usually have to volunteer your DNA to the police. But like I said, the judge probably didn't find anything out of order with the police work, because the police went through a lot of things, and there's a lot of details withheld from us that we don't know about. So it's not like they just publicized everything. They kept a lot of things, you know, under wraps. So the family and the community had to deal with that shit for about 2.5 years. A lot of nonsense, a lot of comments about racism, people claiming the father did it. I bet you the father did it. It's some mob shit just because he's Italian. Prejudice against Italians. Can you imagine that? Black people, prejudice against Italians.
She don't want to go out with Italians alone. She's prejudiced against Italians. You fucking believe that? In this day and age, what the fuck is this world coming to? I can't believe this. Prejudice against a Jew broad. Prejudice against Italians.
So, you know, after all that, the family finally gets justice for their kid's murder. And the court reaction was ridiculous. They all screamed and yelled and were excited and clapping, and here it is.
Find the defendant guilty. Even if I was trying to sustain myself and to control myself, it was uncontrollable. It was just total jubilation, and all the anger, all the years of pain, but mostly the anger was lifted, it was gone.
I'm sure there'll be more claims of racism with that footage. Oh, look at that, all that racist cheering. I can guarantee you that. But all kidding aside, let's get to the article about the conviction. A man was convicted Monday of killing a woman out running near her New York City home in a case that stirred urban fears, helped change the state's DNA investigation rules, and raised questions about race and police procedures. Because, like always, we have to raise questions about police procedures and racism when black and white is involved. Although she's pretty brown. News station footage showed Karina Vetrano's loved ones erupting in cheers as Queens jury delivered in Chanel Lewis retrial, convicting him of murder and sexual abuse in Vetrano's 2016 death. A previous trial ended in a hung jury in November. The second jury deliberated for only 5 hours, staying into the night to deliberate. Jubilation, justice. Justice has been served, the victim's father, Phil Vetrano, told reporters while leaving court. Lewis is set to be sentenced April 17th and faces up to life in prison. I wonder what they'll give him. They might feel bad for him because he seems a little slow and whacked out. So there's no sentencing yet. I guess I may have to do one more video, or maybe not. Lewis attorneys, the Legal Aid Society, called the outcome a complete miscarriage of justice, of course. They had unsuccessfully sought a hearing Monday after getting an anonymous letter saying that the police had pursued 2 white suspects before taking DNA sample from hundreds of black men, in what the defense called a race-biased dragnet, and coming to focus on Lewis. By the way, Lewis, like I told in one of my recent videos about the case, he demanded speaking to a black officer because he didn't want to speak when he made his confession to a white one. So where did the racism start in this case? Our client did not receive a fair trial. He received 2 of them. The Legal Aid Society said, adding that it would appeal. The New York Police Department said in a statement that the anonymous letter was riddled with falsehoods and inaccuracies. The investigation was painstaking, and the evidence clearly shows that Chanel Lewis is responsible for her death. Chief Queens Assistant District Attorney John Ryan called the case horrifying. I'm gonna skip over some of the details of the case because I've mentioned them at least 5 or 6 times, like every single video. Lewis' defense said the DNA evidence hadn't been gathered properly and that the confession was coerced and didn't match Vetrano's injuries or some other facts. Before Lewis's arrest, the investigation prompted police prosecutors to seek state permission to use a technique known as familial DNA searching, looking for people similar enough to be closely related to whoever left DNA at the crime scene in hopes they will lead to a suspect, kind of like what happened with the Golden State Killer. The State Commission on Forensic Science ultimately agreed in June 2017 to allow familial DNA searching in murder, rape, and some other cases. The decision came over the objections of civil libertarians who said the practice entangles law-abiding people in investigations because of their family ties. By the time the commission gave its approval, Lewis had already been arrested. So it's just some little blip. This is really nothing because it's still his DNA they found. It's just a little technicality that might have caused a problem, but it's really nothing. His DNA was found on the crime scene, and that's that. Anyway, to end this whole thing, I'd just like to say it was a crazy case to follow and had a lot of twists and turns and controversies and drama. And it's all unfortunate because this beautiful girl's life was taken for absolutely no reason, because the kid freaked out and was pissed off just about whatever, loud music next door or something. Someone told me on my last video that he gets these feelings of rage a lot because of all the white hate going around, and it was on the video that I did about Phil Anselmo getting his shows canceled in New Zealand. And it's just like this guy's raging because of all this anti-white hate, and I'm like, dude, just get a punching bag or something. Like, don't fucking freak out and kill someone because of anger or rage. It's retarded. Break a desk. Do something. Don't take it out on anything living. You're just robbing people of a bunch of joy they could have in their life knowing that person until they die, but instead you take that away from them and it gives you nothing. What happiness did you get out of it? Nothing. You're still empty there. I guess to leave it all on a little bit of a lighter note, here's a comment I recently got on one of those videos. If he confessed, why did they have a trial? Oh right, the dad killed her and the Chanel, that's the guy's name, but I think he's saying channel, is rotated. Yeah, I'm sure that's what's rotated, dog. Oh, fuck. It's so funny having stupid people in my comment section. Anyway, guys, have a great night. And don't fucking kill anyone.